This is The Weekly on ClickOrlando.com with Justin Warmoth.
Good morning, I'm Justin Warmoth. Throughout the pandemic, few industries have been hit harder than restaurants, especially local ones. From being forced to shut down in March of 2020 to the ongoing shortages of both supplies and workers, the challenges have been constant. This week, I had a chance to sit down with Thomas Ward, owner of the Orlando barbecue spot Pig Floyd's, about the current states of the restaurant industry. Let's go back to 2020. Your initial reaction to when restaurants were closing and there was a lot of unknown, and how you were able to weather the storm between then and now.
Well, at that time, obviously, it was a tough situation because for the first time, they were giving us a mandate to close restaurants. As a business, the most important thing that you have in the restaurant business is cash flow. And at that time, I had 2 units, and both units had just been voted as best barbecue by the Orlando Sentinels. So my sales were fantastic and were on the up. And then all of a sudden, next week, I get knocked down. It was a tough decision, but what we had at that point was to focus on what do we have at hand and what can we do. I decided to close the Lake Nona location at that point, so I don't have, 2 restaurants just eating up cash, and just focusing on our efforts just to get sales out of Mills and try to keep it at least a little bit profitable, or if not breaking even, so that I wouldn't be eating cash, essentially.
I know that decision to close means you can't keep workers on staff. And so the challenges now in today's era of the pandemic, as we've seen at restaurants across the country, the staffing shortages, whether it's not being able to rehire or people are simply quitting. So how have you been able to manage that and separate yourself and be able to stay open with staffing and the challenges that it presents today?
Well, in my opinion, the situation with staffing was an ongoing problem before the pandemic. I think a lot of people don't understand the damage that Uber made to the restaurant industry when it entered the market, because it took a lot of people out of the mix that were wanting to work in the restaurant business and had opportunities in it, but decided that it's better to just drive an Uber and decide on my schedule and all of that. So we were already preparing for that in that sense. But at the same time, I think as for me, I had to shift as a leader in that point. And I started reading a lot of leadership books and shifting into how do I get people to believe in the message of what I'm putting out and want to stay with me moving forward. Obviously at that time, I didn't think I was going to ever expand at that. You don't know what's going to happen. So I wasn't even thinking about expansion, but at that point, I obviously had to decide to close the unit out in Lake Nona because it made financial feasibility. And it was tough, obviously, because the people that have been working in Nona have been working with me for 3 years, and it's tough to let those people go. But at the same time, we just had to keep the business alive. So at that point, we really weren't worried about labor. I think the shift happened later when I think people discovered that the pandemic had just changed the way that we were going to do business in the restaurant business.
With the labor force, what it is today, I imagine, you have a few new places in the works to open.
Yeah.
What's the messaging? How do you attract a labor force that is so small so you can staff those new restaurants and also the restaurants that are up and running today?
Well, I think the most important thing that people need to realize is, yes, the restaurant business is a very tough business, but, also depending on who you work for management wise, it also has to be a great place to work at. And what I'm telling my management group is, whoever wants to work with us, what we have to work with them is to improve whatever they're doing in their life. Because typically in the restaurant business, we see people that come work for us for 6 months to a year. It's kind of like a middle ground to the next job that they're deciding to go to. So if they're gonna be with us 6 months to a year, let's have them come out of here better than what they came in. Has been my mentality lately. And I think it's worked a lot because a lot of people don't ask, what are you doing with your life? What do you want to do? How can I help? Can I connect you with somebody that's in your industry that you're looking for, and stuff like that, which I think a lot of people try to kind of like keep the staff that they have and please don't leave me. And I'm the opposite. I'm like, I understand you're here for temporary time. I'm going to help you get through to the next step. And I think it's worked wonders for us, and actually has made people want to stay with us that maybe wanted to leave earlier. So it's worked right now. I don't know with what's going on in terms of how much they're getting paid per hour and stuff like that, and the benefits that's out there. I don't know how we'll be able to compete eventually. I think there's going to be there has to be an adjustment that people will understand that food is going to get more expensive so that we are able to offer the opportunities that other jobs offer out there. So I think it's going to be an interesting 2 to 3 years coming up, just to see what the Amazons of the world decide that they want to do with their staff, and how Disney operates with most of their staff in terms of like, what are they going to pay them per hour? How is that going to shift? I was reading an article earlier today that people are saying, it's expensive to go out now, but it's just how it's going to be. If we want to take this to a place where it becomes effective for people to work in the restaurant business.
I know Uber, you brought up Uber Eats, and those delivery services, someone might see Pig Floyd's on there, but that takes a huge chunk out of your bottom line. I know that. What would you like to let our viewers know who might, they do the Uber Eats, they do the Postmates or what have you, and what that does essentially to the local business?
Well, I never joined any of the third-party platforms, just for two reasons. Uber Eats and all these platforms take about 25% of the cut. That's a heavy cut from the restaurant business right now. Profitability is not there. Food costs is outrageous, and then obviously earlier, or at the end of last year, we had to shift to $10 an hour, which is no problem. I was there ahead of time, but it's still, we do have to increase pricing to be able to offer those opportunities. And I think people don't realize that also. One of the things when you join Uber for us as a barbecue joint, people say, oh, well, you could raise your prices. If I raise my prices for a full rack or a half rack of ribs, I'm going to price myself out of the market. I'm going to look too expensive. I'm going to look, that's what people don't understand, that everybody that's on Uber Eats really increases their pricing by 25%. I don't want to be that guy, because I think that's basically not beneficial marketing for the business. Barbecue is already an expensive fare, and we don't want to increase that perspective for the customer when they see it on Uber Eats and they go, oh wow, this is expensive.
We'll have more from Pig Floyd's owner Thomas Ward coming up, including details on what he's doing to deal with the record inflation rate in the U.S. Stay with us.
This is The Weekly on ClickOrlando.com with Justin Warmoth.
Welcome back. As you head out today to maybe have brunch or dinner, it's important to understand the challenges restaurants are facing. So many of your favorites don't have enough staff, and because of supply chain issues, there's a chance some popular items won't be on the menu either. Thomas Ward, the owner of Orlando barbecue spot Pig Floyd's, is back now to give us perspective as restaurants try to weather these new challenges caused by the pandemic. We continue to report on grocery stores looking like they do. Obviously, the price of everything has gone up.
Yeah.
You mentioned how you want to keep your prices at relatively where they are, but that eventually you can't do that. And so between not being able to have everything that you want to have on the menu available, you also have to raise prices. So can you talk to us, just being on the inside of the supply chain, what that looks like, and whether or not that's something that will ease in your eyes over the next 6 or so months?
Well, I've been very lucky that my supplier, we were chatting the other day, their fill rate has been 85%, which is in today's standards really high. Typically, fill rates for my supplier is about 98.5%. So you imagine, these guys have never seen this type of situation ever. I mean, the gentleman that came to visit, he'd been 20 years in this business, and he said he's never seen that kind of fill rate. So there's a challenge there. I like to explain that, for example, our rib contract, that usually you do a rib contract that's 1 year, are now monthly rib contracts. And we have emails coming our way sometimes saying that there's not enough supply for us, so that we have to look for an outside source. I mean, there is a huge challenge, which I think is going to go on for the next couple of years, obviously, because everything that's going on and how this progresses, and there's a new variant, so now people get scared again and stuff like that. What I do want to say is that for the first time, I'm really focused on protecting the business. So what I tell you is, for example, it's the first time in 8 years that I've had to put brisket at market price, and I have to adjust it weekly because the raising of the price. I mean, last week it was $1 a pound. I mean, for people that don't understand, for us it means $2 a pound because we lose 50% of the weight. So people don't realize that, and I think more and more as this progresses, they're going to understand, when they go to the supermarket, chicken's outrageous, a cut of meat is outrageous price. So I think it just takes a little bit of adjusting, and people realizing that this is the new norm, and we have to just continue that way. What I do tell you is that people are out there, though. They're not scared of going out. They want to eat outside. They want to enjoy the restaurant environment. We still are 50% to go, kind of. What the business has shifted, which in turn makes our operation more expensive and slower, which we're trying to get accustomed to, because we used to do about 15 to 20% to go, and if you're in the restaurant business, to go damages ticket times. So when a family orders a meal for 5 people and it's all to go, you have to package all that. It takes more time, and it takes more cost for the boxes, and right now that, I mean, as of yesterday, I couldn't even find my to-go boxes. So I had to order them online, and hopefully they show up this week. So it's a bit of a challenge, but I think, during challenging times is when the opportunities knock. And then what do? You say no to those? Right. It's hard. It's hard.
Right. It's always important to shop local and to eat local. Why is it more important than ever, though? Because I go to Pig Floyd's a lot, the Mills location. It's fantastic. Just want to get that out there. But it is quite packed at the lunch hour and towards dinner as well. But why is it so important in today's time to support local restaurants?
Well, I mean, here's the thing that I always say during the pandemic. National chains or whoever has 10 or more units have the opportunity to go out there and look for cash easier than any small business that's 1 or 2 units. If another situation like this arises, that basically we get shut down, if the federal government doesn't really help small businesses like the 1 and the 2s, I mean, the change in the market is literally just going to be big companies, and that's it, right? Because as small businesses, we can't offer healthcare because there's not enough in the pricing to be able to do that. We can't offer these other benefits, right? So it's almost like if we're shifting towards that change where, the mega chains and the people that have, let's say, 10 or more restaurants are going to be the only surviving entities, because, business is going to be really hard for people that are doing it as mom and pops. You won't be able to compete in terms of getting staffing and in sales too. It makes it really hard. So right now is the moment to support small business and one-off restaurants, because I think they're going through the hardest time of their career, if I may say. But I think, again, it's just, you have to focus on your four walls. You have to, right now, the biggest focus is on food quality. For us, at least, we are on that, because you can't really mess up any experience at the restaurant. There is no way. I mean, you were talking earlier about timing, like people going in the restaurant and waiting and for their order and everything. Like, we are really focusing on just making sure that we time it right and make the food right, so that we can consistently keep those customers coming in.
And I want to end it with this. As people go out to eat, a lot of restaurants are facing shortages in staffing, shortages with menu items. And I think a lot of people are getting upset at the hostess or whomever. What would your messaging be to folks as they navigate through, the next year, maybe indefinitely, about how to treat people, to be understanding, because it's a challenge. It's a challenge from the top down.
Yeah. The funny thing that during the pandemic, I have never seen so much camaraderie and people just tipping and taking care of our staff and being very nice. When this shifted and people started going back to normal, the normal, where's my food? Why is all those things start to come back, but in full force, because now the impatience was, I've been at my house stuck for a few months and now I'm out and I want it, and I want it now. Mm-hmm. So I think a lot of people are back to the norm in that sense. And they don't understand that to staff a full restaurant right now is impossible. Okay. And to time it right is impossible as well, because you have third party, you have to take care of the customer that's there. All those things that you have to balance to be able to run your business and make profit. And it's not because as operators, we don't want to service the customer and the guest that's coming into the restaurant at our best ability. It's just the fact that we are just severely understaffed and people are tired. For us, for example, we started closing on Mondays because of the shortage of staff. And it's actually proven to be a better result, because our staffers now, able to rest on Monday. Everybody's been able to take a full day off, and you don't think about the business and what's going on. And then you come back Tuesday and you work the rest of the week, and it's been pretty effective. I've even considered about closing Tuesday. If it takes 2 days, we'll do it. The most important thing right now is that our staff are happy. They want to work together because we're social staff. And also we just want to put the best food out there that we can, so that we can keep our customers coming back.
And his barbecue is tough to beat. My thanks to Thomas Ward for the time this week. For more on Pig Floyd's and the new location coming to Windsor Park, just head to clickorlando.com/weekly. I'm Justin Warmoth. Hope you have a great Sunday.